Thank you for being here. We're on Miami Beach. It's our town hall meeting for the Greater Miami Convention Visitors Bureau. We've got a special, everybody's a special guest today. Vicky was. We have my favorite City of Miami Beach Commissioner here. Favorite here tonight. Mark Sangman, who is the newest City Commissioner. He's the newest, and my words, I think he gets it. He gets the industry, he supports the industry. He has a business background, but he doesn't let that get in his way. But that's a good thing. We like that. So the commissioner has another place to go, but he's staying here, and he's going to. You got the mic.
Okay. Let's hear it. Thank you, Doc. I am so delighted to be here. I'm your most special commissioner in the room. Thank you. I just want to say a quick welcome and thank you. And yes, we are at Miami Beach. Thank you for the GNCVB, particularly Bill and Orlando and their team putting this together. I recognize a number of our city administration folks. Thanks for coming out. Thank you for all of you participating in this important process. Tourism is us. Tourism is the key, whether it's jobs, revenue, bringing people to town, bringing people to decide they want to live there. It's a big, big deal. It's big for the whole greater Miami area, and it's especially crucial to Miami Beach. We've got a brand new convention center hotel, $620 million investment that we've got done. We've got a new private hotel that's going to connect, and we'll hopefully see that maybe coming up in the next few years. That's going to be a big deal. And the city of Miami Beach actually, in November of 2018, agreed to $439 million of more public investment to make our beaches better, to make our public parks better, to make our infrastructure better, to make it more beautiful and fun to come. So we're doing our part, and we know the GNCVB is doing theirs. GNCVB is a wonderful partner. It's always a pleasure to work with them. Planning is a critical process, and the way to do planning right is to listen and to engage. So I really appreciate you all being here tonight. Do some good work, and thank you very much.
I promise we're going to turn it over to the smart people to listen. But everybody has bosses, and our newest board member, Mr. Robbins, I'm going to say a few words. This guy travels with, how many hotels you got now?
20.
Only 20. Only 20 hotels, and you're everywhere. We're everywhere, you're everywhere. So just say a couple of nice words, as you usually do.
I don't have anything else. I just things to say. Hello, everybody. Bill, thank you. And thank you to the Bureau. This morning, I had the chance to spend some time with Sonia. And I can't say it was like an old friend connecting from high school. It was supposed to be 2 hours, I think we went into 3, and we had to split up. It's exciting to be here, good to see everybody, and to be a part of this process. So congratulations on the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, does everybody know what the Convention Bureau does, what it's supposed to do? We're the official destination sales and marketing company for Greater Miami Beaches, including a strong relationship with the City of Miami Beach. Any lawyers here? Thank God. We're a 501c6, not a C3. We have a board of directors. In fact, our board chair lives, works, and plays right here on Miami Beach. We had lunch with them at Joe's today. We want to give a shout out to Jerry Living, a strong partner of ours in Miami Beach Chamber. I have an office there, right? How's my dad? And we have Matt King. Where's Matt? Ready? You're in the house again? How's up? Who's doing the work in the city? Work is done. Well, overtime now, huh? So with that, I'm going to shut up and turn it over to, we're here to listen. You know, 5 years ago we did this, and there are folks here, we have people from Bal Harbor, so this is not just Miami Beach, it's kind of a regional thing. And we're glad folks are here from other areas. I think they waived the parking fee, so you could be here, but we're here to listen. We have consultant, we did this 5 years ago. And some of the things the Bureau is doing today were the result of what we heard 5 years ago. So we do listen. We're evolving destinations. Things are changing. The Bureau itself changes. So with that said, yeah, I'm going to give it to Rondo.
Okay, thank you. So before you listen to the smart people that Bill was talking about, you have to listen to me for about another minute. So, Bill, there's a lot of friends in the room. There's a lot of folks that know the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we're not going to spend too much time talking about us because it's really not listening to you. But needless to say, we are the official sales and marketing organization for all of Greater Miami and the beaches, which is in essence Miami-Dade County. We enjoy a very special relationship with the city of Miami Beach for all the right reasons. We are a full service sales and marketing organization, so we spend a lot of time on everything from advertising to digital marketing to social media, and most importantly, perhaps right now, is selling and filling that convention center across the street and hopefully the headquarters hotel in the future. So that's a quick snapshot. We have a great team dedicated to all these disciplines, and a lot of them are in the room, so at the right time, if time permits, then perhaps you can engage them directly as well. But we have also folks throughout the globe, and this is important because a city like Miami Beach, a destination like Greater Miami, is truly, truly a global destination. So I know you can't see all those little pinpoints, but we have representatives in 53 countries around the world. And that is so important because we have more than a third of our visitors are international. Their spend is more than half of the overall economic impact. So that international market, critically important. So we invest on behalf of you and the destination on resources that allow us to do effective work around the globe. From a marketing perspective, and I'm blessed to be not only Bill's Chief Operating Officer, but the Chief Marketing Officer for the organization. For several years now, our emphasis has been on our neighborhoods. We know through research, and I'm dare say through feedback from partners like you, that what compels people to come to a destination is not only our amazing beaches and nightlife, but authentic, organic experiences. And those are found in some of our amazing neighborhoods. Not only throughout Greater Miami, but even within Miami Beach, and whether it's Hispaniola Drive or Sunrise Harbor, in North Beach, which is an up-and-coming part of our community. So we have specialized neighborhood ad campaigns. We spent a lot of time talking about the individual experiences throughout the community and even Miami Beach. So I'm not going to go through our ad campaign, but needless to say, if you do go to our website, if you do follow us on social media, you will see that we spend a lot of time talking about all the unique and individual neighborhoods that make Miami Beach and Greater Miami a special place to visit. Headquarters Hotel, I would be remiss. The city has spent $620 million. The hotel are collected an additional tax to make that renovation possible. New hotel on the way. We spent half of our company is dedicated to filling that convention center with what we call citywide business. We could not do that. We didn't have a great partner in Spectra. Freddie Peterson, thank you so much. General Manager of the Miami Beach Convention Center. I see Sabrina there leading up their marketing, and it's a partnership to make sure that that investment of $620 million is very effective, and the city gets a lot of return on that. So we're spending a lot of time marketing the convention center, and eMERGE just wrapped up this week, and that's just one example of the types of conventions that we want to bring more of. So with that, Bill talked about the smart people in the room. How do we find the smart people? We went through a very, very comprehensive process to identify consultants that can help us with this strategic plan facilitation. We do this about every 5 or 6 years. Great news is that everything we talked about 5 years ago, in essence, was accomplished, including getting that convention center renovated. But we wanted to make sure that we had the best in breed, so we went through a very comprehensive committee-driven process. These were some of the firms that submitted proposals, and then just a few months ago, we were able to engage who we feel is the best in breed to allow us to build the most progressive strategic plan, which is really the roadmap for not the Bureau, but for the industry. And the Convention and Visitors Bureau is, in essence, the curator of that plan, the facilitator, and the implementer of the recommendations that will be coming out throughout that process. So with that, I think someone mentioned Sonia Murray already. I think Chris and Sonia. So Sonia Murray, in case you were wondering, is not Chris's high school sweetheart. but she's the lead project manager on the company that was selected to help facilitate this process. So, and that company is Intervista. So with that, let me turn it over to Sonia to tell you more about them in the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to all of you guys for coming, because, you know, after work, finding parking, really, really appreciate you coming out here and spending a little time with us. And as Rolando said, and as Bill said, we're really going to wrap up our talk very soon, and then we want to be hearing from you specifically. But very briefly, I'm sure many of you have gone through the strategic planning process. Our process has 6 elements to it up there, you can see. Some of you might be asking, well, why does Miami have to go through a strategic planning process for tourism? Why does the GMCB do this? Florida, basically from the time it was born, has always been a mecca for people to come down and visit, right? In some way, shape, or form. And that is true. You guys are very blessed with a lot of natural resources and wonderfully attractive climate and great diversity. However, the world is small now, very small, and it's extremely competitive. And almost every destination is about a one-stop or a non-stop away. And they're all competing for conferences, for meetings, for events, for leisure tourists. So that's the new world. And as we look out over the next 5 years, and that's what this plan is going to cover, there's going to be a lot that changes, stuff that we're not even going to foresee. If you think about what the last 5 years have been like for change, right? So this roadmap is really going to be helping the GMCBD, not just driving tourists and identifying new opportunities for them, but also helping them to increase, they can enhance their role. Where can they lead? Where can they support? Where can they facilitate the business of tourism for you guys even better? So with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Michelle Simmons, and she's going to talk about the outreach.
Good evening. Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you so much. This is a lovely crowd. We are on number 5 of 15 town hall meetings today, and I think this is the best crowd thus far, so maybe I'm biased. We have begun a stakeholder and community engagement process that is put together by a couple of components. We started with interviews and meetings. Chris told you about it. 85 plus one-on-one interviews with stakeholders that go anywhere from developers, hoteliers, transportation officials, you name it, we've engaged them to get their take on tourism. We also have hosted meetings and workshops with the board and the GMCBB management, and at the end of the process, we'll do a visioning workshop. 15 town hall meetings. We are all over the place. We are going to take this all the way through July 10th. We're across the entire county. I know we're in lovely Miami Beach, but if you know someone in another part of the county, please make sure that you take the list that is in your seat. Don't leave it there. Don't just take the hat and not the paper. The paper gives you all of the locations. Very important that we hear what your thoughts are, and we're going to talk about that. 4 focus group sessions, 2 of which we've already done. We've got 2 more to go. And I think we may be even adding a couple more, but just to let you know, one is for tech and millennials. Who's a millennial in here? Who thinks so? You probably are. I was waiting to see some hands where I was going to that name. If you're a millennial or you're in the tech industry, please reach out to us before you leave, and we'll give you information on that focus group. We'd love to have you. 7 committee facilitations, committees of the GMCBB board, and we've reached out and been there and just gathered a lot of great information. Surveys that we facilitated at those committee meetings, as well as one called Destination Next, which is created by Intervistas. It's our great job. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So the town hall discussion. We're going to get started by asking 4 questions that have to do. Okay, very good. 4 questions about unique Miami Beach experiences, new tourism opportunities. Thank you if you turn my volume up on that. Quality of life for residents, and new initiatives for GMCBB to implement within this next 5 years. So the very first question, we're going to take 20 minutes for each question. What are the existing tourism experiences that are not being sufficiently showcased? What are the existing tourism experiences that are not being sufficiently showcase, and that would be for here in Miami Beach. So we're gonna go around, and we have our microphones, and I know that there are no shy people in this room, so who's gonna kick this thing off? Yeah, I see you, hold on, come. Yeah, I saw you raise your hand. Hold on. I'm coming around, come around. All right, you know I'm coming to you, Wayne, because I know you. So let's look at this one more time. What are the existing, in your opinion, what are the existing tourism experiences that are not being sufficiently showcased? You're good at this, go ahead.
No pressure, thank you very much. I think first of all, the Bureau does a great job, and I agree does a great job in hosting and putting forward positive aspects of what we have. I think tourism experiences need to be holistic. We need to show the diversity, the variety, and the beauty that is Miami, and put that out in as consistent a way as possible.
Very good. Thank you for that. That was succinct and to the point. Who's next? Oh, we got
By the way,
somebody.
we are taking notes of everything that's being said, so we are capturing it. Yeah.
Hi. I think the wellness aspect, because the city of Miami is very conscious of wellness. We have a lot of great instructors here that do yoga classes. I think it's about time we try to target some of those wellness opportunities, whether it be a big jamboree of people coming to Miami, to do that outside, because all of our parks, we do outside leisure activities.
Hi, Aretha Berry, Recycling Meet and Greet Party Tours. I think we have to be more open to innovative and new ideas and activities coming to the beach. Particularly, and be modest about this, Recycling Meet and Greet Party Tours have the first 15 passenger pedaling party bike on Miami Beach. And when we think of tourism, of course we love our hotels and we love our restaurants, but it's also an innovative wellness, non-pollutant activity that have drawn many tourists from across the world. We've been tagged from Africa, from Paris, and they all have written with us since November. Let's think outside the box, because the millennials are here, we have to spread the horizon.
Other ideas? Surely there are some other ideas, and maybe it's not just about Miami Beach. I know we have some guests from just off the beach, so if there are other areas that you think we're not really pushing enough, what would they be?
Since you did a nice introduction, I'm from Powell Harbor, so I wanted to focus on even though the Bureau is doing some work in this area and has started to do even more work, really in partnership with Powell Harbor, but the focus on luxury. There's luxury shopping, high-end hotels, 5-star properties, 3 or 5 in every county. Spas, dining, so that high-end luxury experience.
Great. Yes, ma'am.
When you said more than Miami Beach, I was going to say there's so many great Miami-Dade parks, and I don't know if the tour, because I live on the beach and I'm a tour guide, I'm the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau Heritage Tourism Guide. So most of the people ask me, I'm here on the beach, but they're always asking me, where else can I go? Besides the Everglades, which is a state park, but I'm just saying Simpson Park, I mean, there's tons of parks here that are definitely worth a visit and spend the day.
Great. Thank you. Back up. Let's see you back.
Yeah, just to add to a previous comment about wellness, I think also it could be fitness destination, because a lot of people, they come here, they're trying, it's more, it's people can live like that, but also, there's a lot of good places, good climate for fitness, so people can be inspired and motivated to come here and start their fitness journeys.
Great. Thank you.
So I have a question. In this magazine, is it paid advertising? Okay, so is it paid advertising? So my question is, I don't see very often some of the smaller businesses on Miami Beach, and especially water sports and outdoors, the paddleboard clubs, the
the people that maybe possibly can't afford to be spending, and there's a lot of outdoor activities that you just don't see on the water.
We have a paddleboard coaster that you have seen built in the museum.
Beach.
Right, you have a paddleboard coaster.
I just don't see, as I look at all the different magazines, I don't see a lot of the smaller on-water activities that are on this list.
Great, it's very funny, and I notice we do more and more digital advertising that creates a lower price point for a lot of the smaller companies to take participate. But I'm not sure, take your point. Yeah, thank you. Right, yes, sir.
I think two things. The gastronomic options that we have, I mean, you can dine around the world here in Miami Beach. I don't know if that gets enough play. And also the world-class golf courses that we have. I think that would be worth featuring too.
Right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, President of Miami Beach. We do have more things in Miami Beach. Probably the majority of the people here, they don't even know. We have concerts that are free. Normally, right now, we're going to fountains. They're dancing and lots of party for free every weekend. Good bands. And there's also, there is happening almost everywhere in Miami Beach. They try to advertise as much as possible, but I think we're not doing a good job in getting people from the other side of the coast to participate in this. So I'm not too concerned about the overseas tourism. I'm more concerned tourists from the other side to come and join us.
I just want to add also the cultural aspects. We have so many cultural institutions on the beach, and we need to promote them more as really an option. You can come here and do something different every night, and we should really highlight all the different cultural options.
Right. The complete range. Yes, sir.
I think some of the additional activations that we have that aren't very well publicized. There's a jazz festival, there's an upcoming festival. I think we're going to go more of those organized activations in Miami Beach. But also to go ahead and publicize the ones that we already have. If everybody looks at the upcoming festival that actually is so long time, they consider use more international exposure.
Right, so we're actually doing a lot of things, but perhaps not being able, don't have the budget yet to activate them enough to get enough publicity out about them. Great. Other comments?
The water taxi, for tourists that come here, I tell them if they want to get on a boat to take the water taxi to Bayside. It's too bad that the water taxi doesn't run, there's not more than one or two that you can actually jump on it if you want to.
Yeah, the whole issue of water taxi, what a great way to experience this environment, but to actually get out on the water, and is there an opportunity to expand that to provide more opportunities for folks to do that, also relieve some of the issues about transportation back and forth. Great. Other things that we think are here and simply not spoken about enough, yes, ma'am.
When I think about Miami Beach, I think it's become very similar to Miami proper, in that you have a lot more sort of like micro neighborhoods, and that's become very popular to talk about in Miami proper. But in fact, you have your Sunset Harbor, you have South and Fifth, you have Lincoln Road and Ocean Drive, and those two get talked about a lot. But even North Miami now, and what's happening in Normandy Isle, it's all really exciting, interesting things. And when I go to other cities, I look for things like that, what's near me and what's happening in different neighborhoods. So for Miami Beach and how it's promoted, maybe that's to be considered.
Right, so as we're looking at all the different communities that we're doing throughout the county, also look at what are the unique pockets right here on Miami Beach that can also get that stuff. Some of which I think we showed at least one of those slides in terms of doing some of it, or are we doing enough? Is there more to show the diversity of what's right here on the beach? Other ideas? Future of real estate. Hold on, here we go.
Future of real estate. All the options and the many different neighborhoods are actually focusing on real estate because people are buying from all around the world.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Jerome. I live on Miami Beach as well. To speak to the wellness, we do have a lot of yoga that does take place on Lincoln Road, but this time we're thinking that we were going to continue to go there for those activities, so I think that that would be something to showcase. We do have a lot of different things like the trolleys that are here now. Those things are great places where people sit and walk. They don't know more about it. People are excited about it. It's just very good to get out there and do. So we do have those things. It's just something we didn't see or what you think you're willing to do. You may just like to see something else that may change that. So.
Right. Thank you. Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I just wanted to say that I think film is an untapped opportunity. Film festivals, film production, film incubators, there's a lot of different ways to approach that. And to support the gentleman's comment about our cultural assets, I wanted to add that I'd love to see that highlighted more than just 1 week out of the year and see it really pervade throughout the entire calendar.
Right. Kind of embedded. It's here, let's just get it embedded. And I know there has been a lot of discussion around the issue of film, bringing film and TV back, and what do we need to do that collectively to make that happen.
Miami Beach is one of the most adaptable areas for handicapped, and I think there could be more disability awareness made because they've made a lot of effort to be accessible for people in wheelchairs, people who can't see, and I think that would be something that could be highlighted because we are one of the best ADA and handicap accessible cities in the country.
Great, so a lot of effort has gone into that, but are we promoting it enough to actually make the folks know that this is a really good place to come? Yes, sir.
Within the handicapped community, San Luis Beach is on 64th Street, once or twice a month. It needs to be promoted more. If you look at it, I think Friday through Monday, the cruise ships have 25,000 people coming out of the boats. A lot of people are confused. There's a lot of handicapped people who use the cruise ships. It's easy for them to go around.
Right.
There's enormous potential to bring people to the fourth year.
Right. Right, so the idea that a lot of disabled people are on the boats and the opportunity to actually come and spend a day or two off the boat right here, particularly since it's so accessible. Great. Any other comments? I think not, so we're going to roll on to question number 2.
Okay. Question 2. By the way, great comments from everyone. Thank you. What are the tourism services or products that do not yet exist but should be developed in Miami Beach? What do you think is missing when you go places in the world and you see things?
My name is Tim Schwab. I work on Lincoln Road. And I'm following up on Alex's comment on the water taxi. I think we're missing a huge bet by not looking at the transportation infrastructure necessary to make the tourist experience in Miami County spectacular. And one of the things that would do that would be water taxis from the mainland to the beach, from Coconut Grove to Ventura. Just, put people on boats and let them experience the beauty of, our community. I think that should be a focus.
At an affordable price.
Right, no,
and affordable price.
We make it for ourselves and the tourists will love it. We make it for ourselves and the tourists will love it, right? Right.
Hi, I work for Commissioner Higgins at Miami-Dade County, and just to respond to that, we're actually looking into a commuter-based water ferry service, especially with the upcoming projects, the Signature Bridge, and other things that are going to make traffic increase on the different causeways. So we are looking at it. It will be more of a commuter-based service, but then during the daytime, it would be a more frequent and more affordable option for tourists as well. So that is in process, and we're looking at it, so just stay tuned.
Thank you. Right, I mean, no doubt about it, transportation has come up regularly. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see more welcome centers throughout Miami Beach. I believe there's only one in the South Beach area. There should be one in Mid Beach, there should be one in North Beach. And I think that would also help draw tourists to those areas instead of everybody coming down to South Beach, but more welcome centers, there's more information in those welcome centers.
Great. Thank you.
I would say more walkable, bikeable, safe corridors that can connect communities or neighborhoods from one to the other, where you feel like you can get on these motorized scooters and not kill anyone, and you're allowed in this area, and bike as well, whereas, you know, the boardwalk is dedicated only for people walking, and bikers have to go and negotiate with a 2,000-pound vehicle out on the road. So if that were able, you know, opened up, I think that would be amazing.
Great. Thank you. Great point.
This is, I don't know, it's kind of a service or a product, but can we just watch the sidewalks on Green Act? They are so gross, I've been here 16 years, they've all been gross. And I do love when you're going to sit down New Orleans, but I don't think that's what I beach is brand. And if somebody told me they're already watching, it's going to be one really hot.
Great, well, I know there are some business improvement districts being planned, and I know that cleanliness is one of their main goals for those improvement districts, so I think some of those are still coming up by the end of the year, be in place, but cleanliness and security are probably two of the main issues that they'll be dealing with. Anything you would add to that?
Sure. A business improvement district always does help, and you feel it throughout the country. We're putting ours together, Ocean and Collins. I know Washington Avenue just signed a contract for their pressure washing on the sidewalks. I'm sure that Lincoln Road does their job, but it's not everywhere in the city. So I will agree that there has to be consistent sanitation throughout the city, because the entire city is our brand, not just those small pockets.
Last thing I wanted to say, that one of the services we think is not only to tourists need right now, but the residents, security. Security is a main issue right now. I don't care how much or how many presidents want to go. This city right now is not secure. There's no security on Lincoln Road, there's no security on Ocean Drive, First Street. So before we try to sell this idea, we need to be sure we have the security we need in order to offer those services to the tourists.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Angela. I live in South Beach, right in the middle of 14th and Ocean. I was wondering, what's happening with recycling? Because I see a lot of things that should be recycled, and I personally clean the beach every morning when I'm doing a beach walk. And there's plastic flying all over from the Walgreens that's right there on 14th and Collins, as well as crispy, crunchy boxes everywhere in the corner.
Got it. I don't know that I can answer that, but we'll make sure that's on the list along with sanitation, that recycling is perhaps the greater degree. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Where? Somebody?
Okay, well, one attraction that I think would be pretty awesome on the beach is a skate park, because it's not only good for people that use it, but also for spectators. And I'm sure it would bring out the best people to come out and see on the beach, just like Muscle Beach or other places like that.
Great, thank you.
Hi there. We're a pet-friendly hotel. We have some beaches in Miami that are pet-friendly. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. I think it's great that we focus on some of that, because there's a lot of travelers that come, they drive up from different areas, and it would be nice for them to have fun with their pets.
Great, yes, sir.
Yes, in automobile industry, let's say like in Madrid, where you can rent cars, scooter all around the city, and you just go in the app, rent it, and go another way, or maybe bikes. I know we do it here with bikes, bicycles, not bikes, but in all of Europe, they're implemented with a type of mini car that you just rent, or the motorbikes. They just, yeah.
Great. So the car share programs. Right.
So I'm not sure we did have something. Cargo, yeah, was that in there? It was a little car service, I haven't seen it on here.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes it can be difficult to get the buses
if you're not familiar with the Access Agenda. And a lot of the tourists that come here are students, and they travel by buses. So, to make the agenda more familiar beside each bus and to make it easier to get the bus pass, because you have to, even I don't know where to go to get a bus pass.
So the idea of making public transit as accessible to visitors, to really understand where does this go, where can I get off?
The awareness.
Right, from there, right.
And I know we have a parking app, which is actually really cool, and I use it sometimes, but I think that it is not all sides. I know you have the one, and I think I would see what we can develop more, but it's a great app, and just nobody knows about it.
I've tossed around an idea over the past couple of years, and now with the convention center coming online, I think it's really time. We don't welcome our conventioneers. We don't have table tent signs at the restaurants. We don't have signs at the retail stores. We don't say, Chiropractor, Association International, welcome to Miami Beach. And I think that is something that we can all collaborate on and have templates in a website that people can just download and print out. And this is the convention that's in town right now. And I think that would be very embracing that all of us in the industry can get behind.
Great idea. A lot of other destinations do that. Yes, sir.
I'd like to see us develop an Instagram competition. This would attract probably hundreds, if not thousands, of millennials, because that's all they do all day. I know I have a few of them. And if we had a big cash prize that we put up, and it would get people, part of the voting would be, how many people vote for your Instagram photos. So you would get people posting it worldwide, you would get a lot of exposure, and tourists would then come and almost have like a passport to go and take pictures at the most famous or popular Instagram competitions. That's something GMCB could put up, like maybe it's a $50,000 prize for a to develop an Instagram photo contest.
It's either Australia or New Zealand that basically has a contest just like that, and then they select the guy, and he gets a free year to travel around, and he goes to posts from all over the country. Other ideas that you think of products and services that we could add?
Great.
Yeah, when someone touches about using the use of bus as collective transportation, and maybe have a bus lane connected to Miami and downtown would help a lot of people to use public transportation.
Great. The whole idea of restricted lanes on the bridges to move people faster. Yes, in the back.
Thank you. Regarding products to add, I have a product that I think we should subtract, and that would be the proliferation of beach chairs and commercialization on our public beaches. I think that the tourist experience should people be advertising. Most of the time when you see photographs of the beaches, they're uncolored, they're beautiful, and I think we need to step up our program of beach cleanup also, because it's mostly private citizens that do the beach cleanups. But really, there's too much commercial activity right now, empty chairs, that really takes away from the experience we're trying to promote.
Right. So we reduce the commercialism on the beaches, and then deal with beach cleanup in a more organized fashion. Okay, yes.
Two thoughts. The first being that more organic signage that follows the paths that people typically walk when they're trying to find their way around Miami Beach. I work for New World Symphony, and I can't tell you how many times I've walked out of there into people who are kind of like, which way is the beach? Where's the convention? I mean, they're literally across the street from it, or 2 or 3 blocks away, and they can't figure out north, south, east, west, and where anything is. And I think if you walk around South Beach in particular, we could do better to highlight the natural things that people are looking for and which way to go for them. So that was my first thought. And then the other is tapping better into the existing tools online that people use when they are traveling to certain locations. Google Maps, TripAdvisor, Yelp, all of that stuff. We all know about it, but I wonder how consistent people are in the various businesses and services that they offer in updating their representation online, their images, things like that. And not that the GMCPD can do that for everyone, but perhaps offering advice on how to do that and how consistently and what gets them, noticed SEO-wise, search engine optimization. That could be something that not everyone can pay a group to do for them and analyze for them, but there are some tips and tricks that can be shared to all the businesses and people in the room. So.
Right, well, the idea of the intuitive wayfinding, so that help people orient themselves and know how far are they from the things we want to let them know about. Great. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I remember a couple years ago, during Art Basel, there was Uber Boat. It was a great way to get around town during that time. And I know logistics like Baltimore, Boston, Mumbai, they have that service. So having something like that where we have water and leads you from Uber to Aventura, in the order.
Yeah, water fountains, because it's pretty hot and there's not much up there.
Right, water, public water.
One more comment about sidewalk cleaning is that I feel like there's enough noise pollution in Miami Beach. If there could be a way of figuring out cleaning, the leaf blowers, all this really loud noise that happens. The buses, they've improved the buses, so they're quieter. You need to be cognizant about what you bring to clean and what the knocking effects of that.
Right, just paying attention to noise pollution overall. Right. Any final ones? Yes, sir.
I love it if somehow, like mystery shopping, some of the experiences that I'm very happy with the buy the ticket to the Everglades from some store in Washington or the River Country or the seafood also. You go to this island, you go to the island and see what they experience. If you read a trip about it, it's all very happy.
Great point, that we should secret shop ourselves and be sure we know what the tourists are experiencing and is it as good as it could be or should be.
Thank you. And just to add from that, I was recently in Paris and we got off the airplane, we were able to purchase transit. We actually got, they have packages like transit pass, I could also buy a transit pass that included museums, included some of the sightseeing books. So it's more friendly when because I think someone else mentioned that it's difficult to find where to get the bus pass, and they give you maps right there at the airport. So it would be great if we had something like that at our airport to welcome people right there.
Great. Thank you.
Customer service training program. I think we're kind of seen as one of the ruder, places for people to visit.
Well, it speaks to your point. Do we really know what the experience is for a visitor, and is it one we're proud of? If we're going to be world class, is that an area we need to pay attention to? Great comment. Water.
Just because we talked about this yesterday at the Ocean Drive Mayor's panel, they talked about a "How Are We Doing" campaign. We're talking about specifically Ocean Drive because we have 47 restaurants, and the people who post are complain or do it very loudly because it's Ocean Drive. But the idea of taking that hospitality hotline that we used to have, but making it more tech savvy. For example, text this number and then the hyperlink comes and it goes directly into something that can be verified, and then you can go directly to that consumer instead of going and looking at what TripAdvisor, maybe Google, and may not be accurate, may be retaliatory, there may be all kinds of factors with that. But how are we doing kind of thing that deals with modern day technology?
Since Fernando mentioned drinking fountains, I'd like to mention the back end of the restrooms.
clean public restrooms would be a great benefit to each and every one of us and everyone who visits Miami Beach.
Got it, Keith. Noted, yes. Can't just deal with one end of the problem. Understood. Any other comments, suggestions, wishes, desires?
Shade trees.
Shade trees, more shade. One way or another. Got it. Cool. Very good. Question 3. Next, please. I'll do 3 and 4.
Okay, this is changing gears. We are seeing many destinations now which are facing a lot more pressure from residents to deal with the growth in visitors, behaviors of visitors. I know your city, city commission and mayor have been discussing this very aggressively over the last little while. What do you have for us in terms of specific suggestions to improve the situation and to balance that quality of life for residents?
Here we go.
I think it's a big issue right now between the business section and the residents on the beach. I'm not saying you have to work with the business section, but I think it's speaking with a lot of the residents in the city. I don't think we have such bad years like we had in the last 2 or 3 years. I think a lot of that has to do with the people in power in this city, what they allow things to go on, and it's not stopping. I think Miami Beach became a city of reacting instead of being progressive. We try to prevent all these issues. We try always to work backwards when things are already escalated to a point where it's news all over the world, and it's not good news. So I think that is one of the big issues we have in the residents. We don't see, and again, speaking for myself, many residents, I don't see the business part of it is helping us to understand what we're going through. We all moved to Miami Beach for the reasons that you all know. We're paying higher taxes in the whole state, probably. Maybe Naples pays more. So a lot of our money, our earning money is going through all these tourists, and we're not getting almost nothing out of it. Our taxes are keeping going up and up, just to pay for a lot of these services that you were just talking about. So there is issues that we didn't have already in the past, that we have now. I mentioned before, security is a big issue. I don't know how many people are here as the resident of this city, and how many of them they walk at night on Ocean Drive at 11 o'clock, or how many of them walk on Ocean Drive. When was the last time any residents here spent any time in Ocean Drive? God bless you. Right. So we don't visit the restaurants. We don't encourage friends, neighbors to go to Ocean Drive. And Washington, is also a problem. So that is some big issues. And the issue also is the quality of life that we have right now, which is really going down the drain again for the overdevelopment of this city. There hasn't been any traffic solution for years. We have more and more traffic now than ever before. And we've been trying to accommodate the city and work with everybody, but nobody is really doing anything. We have a new convention center. Very soon we're going to have a hotel with, I think, 600 or 800 rooms. We have so many projects coming up in Miami Beach in the next 2 to 3 years. We don't know where we have no idea how we're going to deal with all that traffic. And a lot of our friends, like I said, and the neighbors, they don't go out in Miami. We go to the coast, it's the other way around. We're going to Wynwood, we're going to the Design District, we're going to other places. We don't, and we're not enjoying right now this city. So I would like to hear from other people.
Yeah,
It's being raised in virtually every meeting I'm in.
A lot of the things he's saying, I've lived on Miami Beach for 25 years. One of the worst things is anybody who tries to find a parking space here, we may get a discount on the parking app as a resident, but if they sell all the spaces to the valet services, what do we get out of that? I know many people who live here, can we look to what I'm saying? That's really one of the most discouraging things, and so many people that live across the causeway, they don't even come here anymore. Like, friends of mine that are born and raised here, they don't come anywhere near Miami Beach because of the parking, the traffic, and what they read about in the Herald about Ocean Drive during spring break. I happen to work in Dayland, I went into Norman's, everyone there started asking me that work there, well, what's going on? It's spring break. I just was like, wow, obviously people are, impacted by the news about spring break. Those of us who live here didn't go anywhere near Ocean Drive during spring break, but still, for the other, we hear it. You hear it, you don't have to read it.
Right.
As a resident of Miami Beach, just felt the same way. I'm on both sides of the spectrum, and I'm not agreeing with residents here, but I think that what we can do is highlight other areas of interest rather than when you get to South Beach, you get Ocean Drive, you get the park, you get the drinking, and that's really all you get from what you see from Ocean Drive, as opposed to Lincoln Road, for that matter, going to the tournament experience. But there are a lot of other places like Lincoln that has the same facilities, Miami has another party set. So you just highlight, focus on highlighting other areas. Kind of spread it out. I think that would balance a lot of the situation out, so we don't have one top destination for partying. You can bring it all here, and it's a mess. The spring break situation happened 2 weeks ago. Again, as a resident, they kind of leveled out by week 2, but it also caused a lot more on top of it, where residents were walked off, the residential section was closed off. You had to show an ID in order to get behind a certain pass point. So it's just really one of those things. It's kind of like, yes, we're being reactive in the situation instead of proactive. But again, Miami is not just South Beach. I think that once we focus on other outlets of Miami, Altogether, Dayland Mall, just other points of interest, we can kind of really spread it out so we're not taking a whole toll as a resident of Miami Beach. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I have siblings that come to visit from New York and Connecticut and other places, cousins from South America. You're absolutely right about that holiday parking thing. My sister comes from New York, she comes to the beach and spends 40 minutes looking for parking. And sometimes she brings my 96-year-old mom. It's impossible to get close to the beach sometimes, even with the handicap spots, because so few of them are really available also. We spend money at restaurants, we spend money, doing a lot of stuff, so even folks that are possibly within the county doing staycation, what's the draw? And then another thing, I'm not single-use plastic, really, you can do that, right? Single-use plastic, we know about sea level rise, we know about what we're contributing to it, and part of what we should be doing also is encouraging all the tourism folks to go away from this kind of stuff and really to go to stuff that's much more sensitive to the environment if we plan to be here much longer.
Right.
Thank you.
We're doing a lot of assessments of destinations, and right now we are actually finding that parking is a bigger friction point than road congestion in many communities. So I think that's consistent with some of the comments here.
Wait, I forgot to mention one thing. So also coming from across the causeway, you never know which lanes are under construction. Getting here can be quite the ordeal, right? So is that too? We have to communicate better about all of those sorts of things, I think.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I know some businesses are doing this around the beach, but I think if there was a more structured program, it would be successful. Where businesses offer incentives to Miami Beach residents, so like an address or their ID is kind of like a VIP card, which will give them more deeper discounts and better incentives to go and enjoy the same activities in stores, and would make them feel good about it.
Thank you.
So a lot of these concerns, with all due respect, are not under the umbrella of the CBD, and I appreciate you listening so patiently, but there's nothing you can do about a lot of these things that are being brought up. One of the things I think that you can do something about is the PR and marketing for areas like Ocean Drive and South Beach. The reality is that it's less than 1% of problems that happen during these high-impact areas. But what happens is people get it on their smartphone, on their video, gets played over and over and over again. So the impression is that all this horrible stuff is happening on South Beach and on Miami Beach. And the reality is that when 250,000 people are on an island and you might have 20 incidences, that's not a high percentage. There's a whole lot worse crime and mayhem going on in other parts of the country, but it's not being played on people's Facebook pages over and over and over again. So I think that the CBD should take maybe a stronger role in good PR. You know, it's all about the good news, and we need to focus more about that. Thank you.
There are communities as well. Monterey, California is a community that has mounted a very aggressive social media campaign focusing on good behaviors, act like a local. So it's education about not using plastic, not polluting on trailheads, and not parking your vehicle in dangerous places along Big Sur. So there are things that CBD can do in a very proactive way to help mitigate some of those issues. Other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I really don't think Ocean Beaches at all, Ocean Drive, sorry. I don't think it's that intimidating at all. I mean, it's just loud, and it's people out partying all night long, every night, 7 nights of the week, and it's what you get. It's party time. It's what you get. I don't feel at all intimidated by any of these people. I walk up and down the neighbourhood. I walk up and down all of the avenues. I don't feel at all afraid in Miami Beach, and that's why I choose to live in Miami Beach. I think it's probably one of the safest neighbourhoods in America at this time.
Thank you. Other comments? This is a big issue all around the world right now, frankly, this issue of how do we balance this. So the dialogue starts, but clearly there are a number of things that lots of different constituencies have a role in this, whether that's GMTV, whether that are your elected leaders. There's lots of ways you have to have an impact on this. Other thoughts, other ideas? Yes, ma'am.
When I think about this, we talked a lot about what residents don't do because they don't, it's too much to get in the midst of the workforce that are there, and I appreciate that. But I think the point of the question is more like tourism is going to grow. It's never been in Miami Beach for as long as I've been here for 20 years. What can be done so that the residents can be here and enjoy being here, right? And take advantage of things in the same way, yes, but also when they're not here for entertainment, they live here. So like, what, do they have access to the kinds of supplies they need at reasonable rates, to the parking for living, to be able to get around for their daily needs, and to get on and off the beach. And I think going back to the whole idea, when you find you can control the crowds there, give them more information, and you also have the most attractive things to be a part of outside of the residential areas, and which is generally along the edges, the surrounding edges of most of the beach. You know, what I found when I first moved here and I lived on the beach for 6 years, I lived in the middle of South Beach, along a little street, and I couldn't afford to live in a nice, beautiful high-rise that was up above the noise and had great windows, you know, that blocked all the sound out. And therefore, when people come pouring through the residential neighborhoods in cars, drunk, screaming, like that to me, that's why I moved off from South Beach. I was miserable with that experience. and I haven't really seen a lot of change in the time that I've been down here. Other than there has been some renovation, there's been some, changes. So I just keep thinking about this whole idea of it's not going away. So the last thought that I had was, what about educating residents better on what is really for the tourists, so that when somebody stops and asks you, what should we do or where should I go, you can send them. There has to, Washington Avenue and Ocean Drive have to have things that are not mediocre on them consistently. There's a lot of lovely things, and there's a lot of things that leave much to be desired in those places, so I think it's inconsistent. And if we start to fortify all of those areas with businesses that are kind of consistent across the board quality, then that keeps people kind of in those surrounding areas and out of the residential neighborhoods where we really need to be.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I hope we are not scaring anyone away from Miami Beach and South Beach, because I'm a resident and I'm telling you, I absolutely love this place. So, let's not scare anyone. But of course, there are some things that I suggest that we do as businesses and tourism businesses. And particularly what we try to do is, we try to provide, we do active tours, and we try to offer our tour rides to different locals and residents and cater to them, and invite them and give them a discount price. We actually also bring our bike to different residents' buildings, and we're a part of the activity calendar so that we can show the local residents, like, look, this isn't just for the tourists, this is for you as well as a local. The beauty of Miami Beach from Florida, we also go into the elder residence areas and offer options for those who arrive. So we have to start implementing. As businesses, we love the tourism money because tourism, I mean, come on, that's what we are, and that's a lot of the dollar trust. But we also want to share that with the residents and locals. So let's implement the residents. Let's go out and look, come join the fun, come join us. We do that. We do. That's what we have been successful with the residents.
The city of Miami Beach has a really great traffic app. I'd love to see that expanded or further better promoted, and I think that's something the CDB can help with. As a resident, that was life-changing, because now I do know which lane on the causeway is shut down. In addition, I think it would be helpful for the CDB to further educate residents on all the tax benefits that we enjoy. The tourists who come in have to pay bed tax, restaurant tax. I mean, they are a major part of contribution to the infrastructure of what the residents enjoy and take for granted on a day-to-day basis. I acknowledge it is a tough balance between the two, but they are deeply, intimately connected, and it's not about valuing one experience over another. That sounds rather classist to me. So I think it's important that we embrace the diversity that exists in our community and continue to welcome dollars, people, experiences as this community continues to grow.
This is the number right here, $270 million in taxes collected last year from visitors. And over here, $70 million.
412 million collected from visitors in tourist, health, and transportation taxes. So, to the point, it all does fit together, and it's a question of how do we make it fit together better.
And even more importantly, let me add to that, 420,000 jobs are supported just from tourism alone in the local market. That's even more than the money. How many jobs? It's 421,000.
142,000.
42,000, sorry. 142,000.
I just want to remind people that we have 90,000 residents in Miami Beach, and probably 10% or more are working in the tourism industry. So residents are tourism industry bound. So what happens in that industry happens to residents. They go to school, they go to the local markets, they have parking issues too. They have all of those, and they pay property taxes. They contribute to our economy, but we are residents as well. So it's not a them versus us type of thing either. And I think that's important to remember. We recently have reached out to our seniors. I think that's also valid. I had a big group of seniors go to the Colony Theater because they had a matinee, and they said we wanted to offer complimentary tickets. Who do we do that to? We have several different senior groups around here that can't afford to do these kind of things. So we have an opportunity to reach out to the seniors or to the PTAs. That I think is a positive cross-marketing, and where tourism can provide positive benefits for the quality of life to the residents.
Good point. Thank you. That's all. One in the back.
Thank you. So I'm Tina, Commissioner of Surfside. And the key word here is balance, because that's what we've been trying to achieve. That's why I got into all this. And the real issue is that if you have happy residents, then they're more welcoming to our tourists. And the reason residents aren't happy is because they're not seeing those tourist tax dollars being spent on things that they need, like infrastructure. We drive over roads full of potholes. We need to see the money go into the infrastructure and find out what the issues are that bother the residents, and then work on that with the dollars that we're collecting from the tourists. So we can all get along, coexist, because we see those issues in our town. People can't walk on the sidewalks because of the sidewalk cafes. So we're looking for better regulation on that. And again, beach furniture. These are all issues that I think exist for everybody. And if a resident that lives on the beach can't go to the beach and enjoy the beach the same way as the tourists can, there's something wrong with what we're doing. And it's just a matter of finding out what the problems are and fixing them. And I believe we can. And we have the resources.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Thank you. My name is Lily Lopez. I'm with Marriott International, representing the Marriott Stanton in South Beach. And I'm a resident of Miami Beach my entire life. I went to school right down the street, Miami Beach Senior High. And an idea that came to mind was, I think it would be a good opportunity to have a campaign where we can thank our tourism visitors. That includes our residents, right? Because we're all tourists as well. But I feel great satisfaction when I drive over the Julia Tuttle and I see the sign that says "Thank you for visiting us." I think that's very, that goes a long way. So I think if we have more of that presence all around, or maybe throughout the city, I think that would spread gratitude.
Thank you. All right. Any other comments? So one last question for your consideration is specifically now thinking about the organization, the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, kind of in light of everything that we've talked about tonight, and also just thinking downstream, 3 to 5 years. Do you think there are initiatives that they could undertake that could have an impact on the issues that we've talked about, or some of the other issues affecting tourism, hospitality, conventions, meetings, those sorts of things? There was training. A gentleman who just left told me on his way out, training in hospitality culture, training in customer service. And that certainly, so that sort of idea is something that could be spearheaded by GMCDB. So what other sorts of things and initiatives could they play a role in? They may not be the lead, they may not have the answer, but they could be the facilitator. They could be the convener. So what sorts of things could they lean in on to deal with these or other issues? Yes, ma'am.
Well, the Bureau always encourages the businesses that want to be involved with the Bureau to become a member. So what if they created an app where all the members who had services to sell could be accessed through the app, so that we didn't have to also do our own marketing to get people to use our service, but there was one app that they sponsored that everyone who paid a membership could also be on the app as an option.
Great idea. And certainly the world of digital is how visitors, particularly young ones, are accessing everything. Got it. Great. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if they already offer this, but I feel that the workers in our hospitality industry, there's a very large percentage that earns a very low wage. They struggle hard to even get here to go to work, and I don't think that they're appreciated enough where you'd see a lot more smiles on their faces. I think that maybe some education. I don't know what you guys do already, but the hospitality industry, these people need to have extra programs, extra appreciation, just like a corporation like General Electric brings the families, the children. You need to make these people feel like their job's important to whoever the boss is.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So tomorrow is a big key luncheon that the Hotel Association is hosting to acknowledge anywhere from housekeepers to bell captains to room attendants. So they do make an effort through the Hotel Association.
But I think there should be something, I think it's great to have those awards and honors, but I think there should be something, they should possibly institute regular programs, quarterly, 3 times a year, get them involved in an appreciation of some sort with them or with their families.
Yes, ma'am.
Just piggybacking off of what you said, I think a lot of the people that work in the hotel industry, they don't live on the beach and they take public transportation. So using or incentivizing the hotels to provide that and to combat and to make that a benefit, like some sort of thing where transit is covered, or if they are driving, a lot of them don't have affordable parking options or convenient parking options. So incentivizing the hotels and the businesses to provide services every single day that show they appreciate their staff instead of like in addition to the other quarterly events that you're suggesting.
Other ideas, keep in mind this is what GMCDD could do to address some of the issues that we've been talking about. Yes, sir?
There was someone that mentioned this earlier about a welcome center. I think this is a really good initiative. I meet a lot of tourists that come into town and they just default to go to the bar, you know, because they don't know about all these other attractions that are really massive that they should take advantage of.
Great. So the idea, not everyone has a data package, or some of our international travelers can't access that. So what else are we doing to be able to connect people at the local level with the additional information about everything they can do and see? Right? Yes, sir.
Kevin Walsh with Marriott International, Miami Beach resident representing the Miami Airport area. What about in terms of multicultural training? For example, I recently met with a tour operator from China. He anticipates driving a lot of business from China, but also I'm the chair of the Marriott Associate Network for LGBTQ associates, and along those lines, like for example, during Miami Beach Pride, LGBT awareness training for those hotels, and Miami Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber does spearhead their flamingo training, but if you could talk about or potentially give us some insight into different initiatives from multicultural training standpoint.
Right. Cultural awareness overall, particularly as we continue to attract people from all over the world.
Thank you, and I just wanted to point out that the GMCDB does a great job with Miami Begins with Me, so I think that would be a great addition to those type of initiatives to expand that, definitely.
Great idea. We have a program in place, it's been in place for a number of years, Miami Begins with Me, but could that be expanded, rebranded, reactivated to include some of these other things that you're mentioning? Great.
Anyone else?
In South America, we want to shop. And I think they overlook Miami Beach and we have a best property, we have it out there. We have a lot of shopping we can do. Instead of going to have to go for the
Right. So again, just making sure we're highlighting shopping as an attraction.
Maybe it's spend a day here in Miami Beach without having to do every hour, but spend 10 hours in the shop.
Got it. Great. Yes, ma'am.
How about we feature a story about some of our hospitality workers that have come to Miami as immigrants, as people that are growing up here,
and tried a bellman that became a CEO of a company, a front desk agent that is now becoming a general manager. Sometimes the stories about their lives is a great testament to what the city can offer. Perhaps we can highlight certain.
That'd be a great video.
It's great.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Adita Zeladon. I'm with Marriott International, and I'm representing the Marriott Stanton. And I think also a good initiative would be to emphasize all the free transportation that there is on the beach. I work a lot with clients that come from other areas, and I always try to emphasize how they can use Swoop, Freebie, for example, the trolley, so they don't have to come with these big buses or shuttles where there is no parking. There is really not even a place for them to kind of even jump off and do the drop-offs. So I try to emphasize that there's all these other options that they can use. And I think that's something that we should promote more and talk about more, because a lot of people don't know about it.
How popular is the trolley with visitors right now?
Very popular.
It's very cool, very distinctive, in all different regions here. So it's popular.
So, but maybe an issue that we need to raise the noise level on, right? And more consistency with everybody talking about it so that more visitors can access it.
Smart hotel using the path trolley. A lot of times we mention that it drops you off at the convention center, and we use the map that we have from our concierge service. They can activate with us that all the time. So that's another good.
Great, thank you. Other initiatives, other ideas where the Bureau could lean in to help solve some of these problems.
I don't know if this is feasible, but in some of the locations we're talking about, including Miami Beach, is there an independent assessor that can go into all of these neighborhoods or areas that are considered part of our tourism industry and come back with a very objective kind of assessment of it that's shared for the good of the cities themselves and their governments and the GMCBP, so that you can kind of pick it apart and see, well, whose responsibility is what and what's feasible. Because I sometimes feel like there's different entities who have similar concerns, but they're not necessarily always at the table together when they're endeavoring to look at these things. So having an independent assessment would be helpful, and maybe the GMCBP could push that forward.
Yeah, part of this project does actually include a destination next assessment. Michelle mentioned it earlier. And what we'll be doing is sending out a survey to a number of industry, community leaders, and clients to do an evaluation of all of the regions within the county based on 20 variables. 10 looking at the strength of the destination, and 10 variables looking at community support and engagement. So at the end of that, we should have a pretty good handle on sort of the dynamics of each of the different municipalities and regions. Yes, sir.
I remember how exciting it was when the GMCDB looked at cultural tourism. It was one of those things made up, it was low hanging fruit, they picked it up, and what better community than Miami than for cultural tourism, since we have such a diverse population. And I wonder if there is something, because the thought leaders, if they look into something that I think we're going to have to resolve in the future, is sustainable tourism. And put some thinking to what makes our business a sustainable model, and how moving deeper into the 21st century, we can continue to host tourists and continue to provide exciting things for them to do in a sustainable manner. And the same way that we look at cultural tourism, we can look at the sustainable tourism. And it might give us like a market niche that nobody else is looking at.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've spent some time talking to your resilience officers at the county and at the municipal levels. And Greg and I feel, Greg is one of the top game planners in the United States and internationally, and we feel there's tremendous opportunities here over the next 5 to 10 years to leverage that expertise here, all of the work that's being done here, to generate a lot of events to fill your convention center. Great, yes sir.
I participated on all the meetings that have gone on in this city for the last 3 years about Miami sinking, and will continue growing, more construction, more cement underground. Is your organization going to be able to help us in the next 5 years to just keep aware that this is something that is happening? It will be nice to let it happen, but we can be talking 10 years from now, Miami Beach, the new Venice. So that is serious, and we have plenty of meetings. One yesterday, was well attended, the day before. I don't know if there's anybody from the organization that really serious about this. This is a huge issue.
I mean, we have had meetings and have been briefed on this subject. I know you're one of the leaders, certainly in the U.S. and internationally, in terms of trying to proactively address this. I'm not promising that we're going to be able to solve global warming, climate change, and as part of this initiative, but we certainly agree that this is a major issue for Miami and a lot of other cities.
Right, and it does fit together. All sustainable tourism, resiliency, this all does feed together. Any other thoughts? Comments? All right.
Well, first of all, give yourself a round of applause for the feedback. I really appreciate that. And just to answer his final question, we, as they mentioned, well, we need to be at the table on all these major issues that are impacting tourism. And resiliency is something that Bill Talbot, our CEO, we are working with the resiliency offices, so we are being part of those discussions. But more important, I think moving forward, and we've heard it not only tonight, but for other sessions as well, this issue is a genuine issue that we need to be aware of. So thank you for that feedback. I did want to turn it over to Bill to close out the conversation.
Oh, just real quick, and we did obviously a lot of listening tonight. I've been to 4 of the 5 events, and on the 5th I was at an emerge dinner here on Miami Beach. So, but my takeaway tonight is, of the 4 I was at, that virtually everyone here spoke. And it's the first session where there was applause. So give yourself a round. Thank you.
And as we're all out, please take some of the bites home. We don't want to have any leftovers. And also, please visit this website, destinationmiami.org. You will see updates on the plan, you will see the videos, and you can answer our additional surveys. So thanks again, have a great year.